Hello and welcome back to another episode of the ALIZEE YEEZY show. I am your host, ALIZEE YEEZY. I'm a bit tired this week, so bear with. And I'm here with Kieron.
Hi
Kieron
again.
is the co-host this week yet again. How are you doing? You're
I really
right?
hope no one is getting sick of my face. I'm doing great.
Why would they be sick of you? You're lovely. They should be sick of this mug.
That's true, but they keep tuning in.
The 1,000-yard stare. You ever see that video of George? What was his name? Chancellor Georgie.
I don't know any chancellors, I'm sorry.
No, the Chancellor of the
Exchequer?
That's the one. What was his name, Kez? George.
Research team.
Gideon Osborne? George Osborne. I used to tweet at him on my private Twitter account when I had it, being like, oh, I just want to grab a bag of kit. I've got some gear here with your name on it.
Someone called Gideon.
Yeah,
doing
Gideon.
drugs, yes or no?
Well, did you never see those videos of him in the... What's it called when they're all yelling at each other? I'm
House
a bit
of
tired.
Commons?
Yes, where they're all just yelling and it sounds like...
I hope
It sounds
House
like
of
an
Commons.
indoor
I'm gonna
swimming
look really
pool.
dumb. Yeah.
George Osborne, yeah, Gideon. Old Gids, come on, he should come on the show. Then there's so many videos of him, just everyone's yelling and he's just 1,000 yards staring, like spanning out and being weird. Because he's clearly, like, if you've done the weekend warrior and then stayed up all night and gone to work on a Monday, you know that look well. And that's not from alcohol.
Yeah, that's fair.
In fact, one of my earliest videos on my channel is that to not Mad World. One of the songs, either Mad World or Hello Darkness, My Old Friend. It's one of my oldest videos on my channel.
Yeah.
And I used to be way edgier because in like the description box, it says like, have you had an accident at work? Have you accidentally done too much cocaine? Call this number now. And it's the number to like his office. I just found from Google and put it in.
I wonder if anyone called.
That'd be so funny. Anyway, yeah, that's how I feel like today. I feel like Gideon
The
Osborne.
last thing you want to do after a bender is be in the House of Commons, I reckon.
Whilst everyone's screaming.
Give it a rest.
Calm down. Go to the pub. So, what have you been up to this week? Hopefully not going to the pub or the House of Commons.
Yeah, actually, I've been in the House of Commons all week. It's been super long. No, I've mostly been burying my head in essays with like vaguely sexist subject matter.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So I just finished an essay about whether sex is a female commodity that women exchange for men's resources. Thoughts?
Go on.
Yeah, so the idea is that it's like a way of understanding heterosexual relationships, apparently, which...
What do you mean apparently? What viewpoint are you being objective when you write this?
I think that it's outdated, primarily. But also, I didn't go to uni to write essays about straight people, to be honest. Like,
What do you think's
where's the
outdated? Straight
flavour?
people.
Come on, yeah. But yeah, the idea is that women sell their sex to male buyers to get like resources such as financial gain, social status, which obviously I thought was like a little bit outdated, you know.
So you think that's outdated?
I think
That
so.
idea?
I think that 100 years ago it could have been relevant, but now I would say, especially because women are now able to like become financially secure on their own, more so anyway. I think it's a little bit like, also it's quite cynical, you know.
Who gave you this topic? Did they give you the topic?
Yeah, it's part of my social psychology
Just
module.
write like a
And,
sentence being like, this isn't the 1820s anymore, get a grip.
Exactly. And also that BuzzFeed quiz that I sent you, that was like the privilege checklist to find out how privileged you are. That was like given to us by one of our professors.
A BuzzFeed Quizlet.
Yes.
That someone from BuzzFeed community
Yeah.
probably made.
Yeah. Which, yes, like privilege is very real. I'm a privileged person.
Not
but
according to that quiz. Your
not according to the
test
BuzzFeed
result.
quiz. That's true. But I think a BuzzFeed quiz is maybe not the definitive like, decider of how privileged a person is.
To do an essay on BuzzFeed in the curriculum.
Yeah. I know, yeah. I could be wrong. BuzzFeed could be the mecca of social justice and social awareness. I may need to retract anything bad I've said about BuzzFeed. I'm sorry.
Someone's going to take this and be like, see what they're teaching in university nowadays.
Honestly,
See
I
what
know.
lefty rubbish.
I know,
Someone's
yeah,
gonna take
can
it
you
and do that.
imagine?
Oh, that's so funny. Well, you've had a more productive week
Also,
than
my
I have.
professor randomly sees this. No hard feelings. I love BuzzFeed.
Oh dear.
God. What have you been up to?
What have I? Yeah, moving on swiftly before you're booted out of uni.
Exactly.
What have I been up to? That is a good question. What have I been up? Well, I'm looking at the camera like you would know, the audience. What have I been
You've
up
been
to?
reading?
What have I... Yes.
Yeah?
Actually, yes. I finished this book called Song of Achilles.
I've heard that's really good.
Perfectly pleasant. Nothing really, you know.
Okay.
Because I'm working on this video. It's taken fucking forever.
Yeah.
I'm working on a video where, and this isn't a new original idea. I saw other people doing this and thought, oh, I'll do that then. Taking TikTok's most recommended books, reading them, reviewing them.
I was about to say it's doing the rounds on TikTok. That's where I've seen it.
Exactly.
You know.
I mean, I got halfway through it and then put it down for a month and just, not because it was bad, I was just busy, but then I didn't have a real compulsion to finish it. So I only finished it recently, and it's only like, you know, because I was writing up my comments and, you know, review of it afterwards. And I decided to do a bit of Googling, and then I discovered that Patroclus, who is the main character, actually is a real mythological figure. I thought he was just made up.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I know who Achilles is, I know who Odysseus is, I know who Agamemnon is, but I never finished reading the Iliad.
Okay.
You see, because I have like the audiobook of the Iliad, and the thing about the audiobooks is it's like 40 hours long.
Oh, jeez.
I would have finished it if I just read
It's like a full work week.
Exactly. It's like listening to Lord of the Rings, the director's cut edition.
Sure.
But not as good, because Lord of the Rings is well sick, mate.
I wouldn't know.
Which is bizarre to me. It's so bizarre to me. You have to watch Lord of the Rings. Because no, you don't have to. You can do what you want. But I suggest heavily that you do, because it's genuinely really good.
You're not leaving this studio until you've seen all of
might
the
be
Lord of the
here for a
Rings, the
few
director's
days.
cuts, and The Hobbit.
I've only seen the first Hobbit. I wasn't that into...
They're longing it out. Come on.
I know.
Not everything needs to be a trilogy.
It's like an inch or two thick, the book.
Yeah.
So I don't know how... Well, I think maybe they mix bits
Hollywood's like, we can make some money out of this.
Kesmotion, have you seen The Hobbits? Bits from the Silmarillion? You know the Silmarillion? The Silmarillion.
One more time.
That other thing that J.R. Shit, Tolkien. We were talking about J.K. Rowling before, so I was going to be like, J.R. Rowling.
How do I Google this?
The Silmarillion. The one with, it's about Middle Earth. I haven't read it. Rob's read it. He's like based his life. It's true. He's based his life on Lord of the Rings. Yeah, thank you. It's not just me mispronunciating everything.
Mispronunciation.
Silmarillion.
The ALIZEE YEEZY show, sponsored by Googling shit on the spot.
Sponsored by, you know, when you Google like blah 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 pronunciation, and then it's that like passive aggressive voice that's like Silmarillion.
Silmarillion.
Did you know that for some words, it now comes up with the English pronunciation that you can listen to and the American.
Oh, good lord.
So you could type in basil and it would be basil or basil. I'm sorry.
You're done.
My
You're
audience
done.
is American. I'm sorry. I'm not really. It's basil. It's not basil. There's no magic E in there.
You're not getting any calls from Hollywood. Let me tell you.
What are we talking about? Oh yeah, so Song of Achilles. But I did, you
Sorry,
know.
what's a Silmarillion?
I don't know. It's elves and shit.
Oh, okay. That they've taken from that for The Hobbit. Okay.
I'm not sure. I was under the impression that they took little bits of it
Okay, sure.
to continue on
To long out the films.
fluffed it up with bits of the Silmarillion.
Sure.
Parts of the big battles.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the book. Made
Okay.
3 movies out of 1 book, and there was a very progressive plot, subplot, romance between a forbidden love between an elf and a dwarf, right? Yeah, of course it didn't exist in the book. J.R. Tolkien was born in like the 1600s.
But
He
a
wasn't
forbidden
really.
love between close. A forbidden love between who?
An elf and a dwarf.
I love this.
But we had that in the original Lord of the Rings anyway. Legolas and Gimli. Can't convince me otherwise.
I love how like forbidden love stories, instead of just like actually using like real world examples, they're just like, just turn them into monsters. It's a metaphor. Like instead of actually using like an LGBT romance story or something, like, or like interracial in like a past setting, they're just like dwarves and elves. They'll get the hint.
Well, maybe you'd like Song of Achilles then, because it is about the... And apparently that's not an original idea, though. There are some interpretations by philosophers from like bloody ages ago that Patroclus and Achilles did the sex. Oh, I mean, like, not to be crude, but they were like had a romantic relationship. I'm just always so crude. Always like, yeah, right. They were fucking.
Sex is not that crude. Come on.
They were fucking. They were barebacking, right in the middle of the Trojan War field. Raw dogging. Like raw dogging in a chariot, like in a field. I'm sorry, Mum.
I'm sorry, but like all the mythical figures, like especially like Greek ones and stuff.
Oh, they loved it.
Yeah.
A little bit of free
Doing
sex
gay
brawl.
stuff.
I
yeah.
mean, well, the women had to like stay at home. That was it. But
while all the men were fucking each other.
yeah, apparently Roman civilization was a bit more progressive for women. They could actually do things and go outside. And I don't know if they could vote. I don't know. I've been to the Roman baths like twice, so I've gone through the whole tour. Not a lot of it is stuck in, apart from what's it? Sulis Minerva is Athena.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, but
This actually reminds me.
go on then.
You know the Trojan horse story?
Yes.
You know that's actually a myth. That didn't actually happen.
Yeah, the War of Troy didn't really happen.
I thought people legitimately got in a wooden horse, and like I thought that really happened.
But then
I
why
was
would
devastated.
why
when I
would
found out.
Homer just make that shit up? Why would he?
I thought you were talking about Homer Simpson for a second. I was like, which episode of Simpsons
To
was
be
this?
expected, really. The amount of times I
That's
referenced The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But when would Homer, like, why would Homer just make it up? Well, actually, there is the theory that the Iliad and the Odyssey, it wasn't just done by a bloke called Homer, it was several different poets, because a lot of it was sung in verses for years before it was actually written and
That makes
transcribed.
sense.
Yeah, I ascribe to the very popular theory that when they talk about gods hanging out of humans and having like half human, half god offspring, they're really talking about ancient aliens.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because apparently,
of course.
according to my good sources at the History Channel, Mount Olympus, in some legends, apparently the top of it would sometimes take off and go to space. Take off. Sorry. Loads of fire and smoke and noises, and they go to space. It's like, well, if that is true in some
strobe
legends,
lights, a disco ball comes down from the sky.
that is definitely a fucking UFO, though.
Yeah.
Song of Achilles. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Song of Achilles.
I thought it was. I thought it was good enough. You know, as if I'm some great reviewer.
Scathing review.
It was good enough.
I thought it was passable.
No, it was nice enough, but like
Okay.
I did find that the pacing was a bit like it would kind of go like this: Patroclus and Achilles, they'd go to a place. A scene or two would describe what they're doing at the place, and then the next chapter would start with that was what we did for days, weeks, months, years, when it gets to like the Trojan War, years. And it has
gosh.
that like format of that kind of pacing at least 5 times.
We went to the bathhouse and had sex. We did that for weeks, months, years.
No, literally. It's basically like that. And like there was this one bit where there's a character, I'm going to butcher the name, Briseis.
I don't think she'll be offended.
Didn't exist, don't matter. I can pronounce her name how I want. Briseis, she's this girl that they sort of got from near the lands of Troy, and she's going to be sold off to be a slave, but then they rescue her and they don't, rape her. They treat her nicely and give her stuff, and they don't she's not being used as one of Achilles.
Heart eyes right now.
It's pretty savage, the book. I mean, it's just a reflection on what society was like at the time, where women were just things.
Yeah.
Things to stick things in, apparently. But there's a bit where they're talking about how from then on they would then try and rescue as many of these girls as possible, so they could live a life free of that and free to do what they want in their camp. And Patroclus talks about how Briseis learns more Greek and then teaches the other girls. And I think it would be more... I think it just would have been better to have more scenes that actually show, instead of being told, then this happened, then this happened. There was a lot of telling and stuff. There was still
Specifically
showing,
about
but
what she was doing as well as a character.
I thought it'd be quite good. I thought it'd be quite interesting. So because I feel like those moments are character building.
Was she quite passive in the story? Because the way that you've said is, she was going to have these bad things happen to her. The guys came along, saved her.
It's reflected all the time. She couldn't do shit.
Yeah.
She couldn't do shit. She would have got killed. She's a little bit passive to begin with, but then she really starts to like shine, and her ending is pretty tragic, but she dies
Spoiler
almost.
alert.
Spoilers. Do you want to hear the spoiler? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, go ahead. No,
well-
actually, let's stop talking about it now.
Really?
No, obviously, I
tell.
don't care.
Well, so Achilles and Patroclus, they just die. And it's a
Oh my god!
it's pretty infuriating because it's just like, what are you? Oh, you bloody idiots! Patroclus dies
gosh.
because Achilles is just being really big-headed, basically, and being like, my honor. Well,
Did that happen in the myths, or is that like artistic liberty?
apparently,
Did Achilles get his heel done in?
in the myths, he
But
gets.
not in
I
the
think he
book.
gets shot through with an arrow. I think I can't really remember. I only read this a few days ago, but
Fair
my head's
enough.
been full of Twilight since, which we'll
Yeah.
get to in a minute.
Sure.
So then Achilles has this son called Pyrrhus, and he's awful. He's 12 years old, and he's trying to like shag about, and he's like, I'll do what I want, because he was raised by
Did you
these
say
nymphs.
he's 12 years old and he's trying to shag about?
Yes.
Fuck.
He was raised by these nymphs, right? Whereas Achilles was raised like, with humans. So he was much more human, and his mum Thetis thought, oh, this is a failing. But then, so she keeps Achilles' son,
Yeah.
who he fathers on some island somewhere. She keeps him and raises him, and he's this horrible little tyrant. And Thetis does realise, like at the end, oh god, what did I do? It's not
Yeah.
said, but you can tell that she does realise, like, oh my god. So Pyrrhus, he's this little shit, and then he's like, right, you women, I'm going to do whatever I want with you to Briseis.
Sure.
And she takes out a knife and tries to stab this demigod.
As she should.
Yeah, and then she runs away, but she gets done in by a spear, chucked by him.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's a very sad ending, but good on her.
I wish all these fictional women were here so I could interview them for my essay.
Yeah, they might have some
Yeah,
thoughts on it.
I think they'd have opinions. Should get them on the podcast.
There was there was one other thing to note. So I did that thing, and I always do this about everything. When I finish watching a movie or a TV show or a book,
Yeah.
I like to type in the title on Google and type in Reddit just to see how the people,
Yeah.
People cried a lot at this, but like the wave of emotion I was seeing from Reddit on this, like, I've been in tears and
Yeah.
heartbroken. I didn't feel that. I thought, I didn't really care when Patroclus died, because I thought, this is such a stupid death. Like, this is so preventable. This is just your male egos are just. This is so preventable. I have no sympathy. I felt bad for Briseis, bad for her. Like, poor girl. But I didn't give a shit. I thought it was like nice when they reunited in like the underworld. But other than that, I was like, oh, okay. People are like crying over this.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. I've seen mostly on TikTok people just like being very, very upset.
It's no flowers for Algernon. That is a real tearjerker. Good
yeah,
lord.
I haven't read it.
It's no the end of Clona Daughter Phantomile. You ever play that game?
I didn't even understand any of the words that you just said, to be honest.
It was a game on the PS1, and it was the cutest, like cutesy. You're this sort of anthropomorphic rabbit cat.
This is the thing we talked about before.
Is it?
Yeah, because I think I watched the ending cutscene of it, and then I messaged you, and I was like, "This is the most devastating thing I've ever seen in my life." And you were like, "Right, what is it called again?"
Clona Daughter Phantomile.
Yeah, I remember because you told me before, like how emotionally devastated you were about it.
Well, because I was
So I
about
checked
8,
it
and
out.
it's such a cutesy little game. And even when you kill, in quotations, the enemies, you sort of blow them up with your magic ring, and you throw them in front of enemies, and they
Yeah.
burst into like cutesy, brightly coloured stars, stars and clouds. So it's so cutesy. And then the ending just comes out of nowhere and fucks you right over.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
horrible. Imagine being 8 and watching them being like 8 years old. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand it. So
Yeah.
I was just like, well, why does he have to go now? Why are they all screaming and crying, Mum?
Yeah, because I remember when you were telling me about it, I thought surely like it can't be like you must be overselling it. But then when I watched it, I was like, I had tears in my eyes. I think.
Please clarify for the audience that I rarely exaggerate. I'm a bit dramatic
Never.
when I'm mad, but I rarely exaggerate
No,
things.
no.
So I don't need to, because real life is devastating enough.
It truly is. But I would say anyone who doesn't believe, go and watch the ending cutscene of what is it called, Clona?
Clona Daughter Phantomile.
Go and watch it and see for yourself. And let us know how much you cried. For how long. The duration.
Oh, I cried like a little baby. Like a little baby. I mean, I was a baby. Did you ever play? You haven't played any of the Final Fantasies, have you?
No.
Because Final Fantasy X had a bit of a, but I had like, it was on the PS2, and I had this PS2 disc
Yeah.
that had like cheat codes and cheats and stuff, and you'd put the disc in, load up what cheats you wanted, then put your actual PS2 game in, and they had a bunch of cheats for Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
And I was maybe halfway. For anyone that's played it, I was before Bevel, when you're fighting the massive worm near Bevel. These words mean nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
But on this cheat disc, it had watch the ending. So I decided to, and I was about, again, like 8 or 9 or so, just being kind of
Without
low-key
playing it.
traumatized. Oh, I was impatient to know. I was like, I
fair
want to
enough.
know what happens in the ending. And the second half of the game takes like a vastly different turn. So I'm
Okay.
watching this ending where, spoiler alert, do you mind spoilers? You're not going to play it.
Let's just spoil literally everything that's ever existed. Let's go.
Skip. I mean, it's like a how old is the game? 15 years old. It's a very old game.
Yeah.
The main guy who you play as, Tidus, it's similar to Clona. He's literally a dreamed up by the faith, and he and Yuna are in love. But then Tidus is just like, oh, I gotta go now. See you later. Jumps into the afterlife, and I was just watching it. I had no context for what was going on. I was just like, why is Auron dead? Why is he dead? What's going on? I cried. At
Now
that.
to play from the beginning.
I cried at that because I was so confused. And plus, I loved Tidus because Tidus was just like a more grown-up Bart Simpson, and I used to model my life on being like a real Bart Simpson
Yeah.
because I was a bit strange like that, a bit peculiar.
I think that's aspirational.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Other than that, what else I've been doing this week is I finally started doing like a literal page-by-page analysis of the first Twilight book.
Oh, I think that you're like a masochist. That you like just do this to self-torture.
Someone else said that to me today. Maybe there's something in that.
Hmm.
It
Professional diagnosis.
Please. I should tell my therapist. She might say the same thing
Yeah,
because
maybe.
it is arduous.
Hmm.
I mean, doing the sort of book reviews the way I do them when I'm going really intensively,
Yeah.
it does take quite a while. You know, I'm amazed that my attention span can put up with it. But I do
Yeah.
enjoy slagging off bad books because it's just fun for me.
Sure.
So the video that I did about the young adult fiction, the one where food don't reel or something, and a girl feels hungry, and that's her magical trait that sets her apart from everyone else, that she feels hunger. Apart from she meets a special boy that feels. You do not see that one. It's an hour and a half long. That video I put up like a month or two ago.
Oh no.
Do you not watch it?
I'm no longer the biggest fan of the ALIZEE YEEZY.
It's a good
I
vid-
probably watched
it's
it,
a good
but
video. If I do say so myself, I put
toot
a
your own
lot
horn.
of effort into that because the scripting part itself took hours upon hours, and I'm not keen on doing that kind of thing. Twilight, it's already worse than that. I'm 20% of the way through. The script is going to be 100 pages. That's not 100 pages of just my notes only. That is also screenshots of the quotes used.
Sure.
But that's still, you know, I have to read out the quotes. So that's 100 pages of script that I'm going to have to. It's going to be like a 3-hour long video.
I
Minimum.
can't wait for this feature length director's cut.
A movie on
Yeah.
me slagging off the
Twilight.
Twilight books.
All of them.
No, just the first one.
Are you going to do all of them?
Yes, that is my goal. I'm going to do all of them and then move on to 50 Shades of Grey and then move on to House of Night and then just try and find whatever, you know, if people want to recommend me terrible books. But I feel like it's important to do it with Twilight because I've noticed that Twilight is kind of getting a renaissance of sorts, yeah. And there's a very real phenomena of people mass bullying things that teenage girls like because teenage girls aren't allowed to like anything. You know, see 13-year-old Justin Bieber. Half the Western world bullied 13-year-old Justin Bieber, and then we wondered why he, like, you know, went down some dark roads when he was older. Yeah, no fucking shit. When you've got millions of people being like, I hate that kid who's 13, just got discovered because he was singing, and teenage girls liked him. You know, it's just
You would maybe internalize some of that, yeah.
totally. Yeah, no wonder he turned out a bit funny for a few years, but apparently he's all right now. There's what K-pop had it as well, you know, because lots of teenage girls in the West enjoy K-pop. And there's some valid criticisms of the K-pop industry, totally valid.
Yeah.
But I think Ethan Klein did this like a year ago because I did a video on it, just being like in defense of the teenage girls. Like, why are they not allowed to just like
stuff, yeah.
or can't they just like stuff? Yeah, the K-pop industry is bad, but that wasn't the point people like Ethan Klein were making.
Yeah.
They were just making fun of it. And also,
As soon as something is like popular primarily with teenage girls, like the rest of society is like, this thing is automatically bad.
Yeah, and I feel, unfortunately, that people are kind of doing it with Twilight. Twilight the books and Twilight the film are two different things. I think Twilight the films are fine. I'll state that on record. I think they're fine. I think when you have the context of half the cast fucking
Huge
hated
praise.
doing them,
Yeah, that does
it
make
makes it
better.
so much more funnier. The director's commentary of Robert Pattinson just drinking beer and slagging off his own performance, and Kristen Stewart just being embarrassed perennially. It's so good. And also, like, they had some fantastic soundtracks, and I really feel that they de-emphasize some of the more creepier aspects of.
Sure.
There's still creepy moments in it because, you know, most of the plot point of Twilight is fucking creepy, but I feel that they really minimized it, and the soundtracks were brilliant. And the end of Breaking Dawn Part 1, when Bella's turning into a vampire and she's like got all of her memories whilst her red blood cells are turning diamond or some shit, and there's like, you know, Bella's like theme song piano version playing. I thought that was some like decent cinema. I was like, this is good on you, Twilight. That's good.
Holy shit, okay.
Yeah. And when they decided with Breaking Dawn Part 2 to have a little like battle, one of my friends who was really into Twilight said that she almost walked out of the cinema at that point because she was like, this isn't how it goes in the books at all.
Yeah.
But it's like
it's a dream, right? Or a vision.
it's a vision that Alice gives the bloke.
Yeah, sure.
that
Which,
bloke.
like, when I saw that clip, I don't know if I've ever watched that film in full, but I have seen that clip. I remember thinking, like, Twilight is seeming kind of a little bit badass in this specific clip. Like, people are getting, like, decapitated and stuff.
Yeah.
But then it was all fake. I was like,
But I still think it's good that they went down that route for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't mind Twilight the films at all.
Okay.
I'll watch them. Like, you know, they're all right.
My main thing is if you were a vampire and you were, like, stuck at 17 or whatever, but you're hundreds of years old, why would you go to school?
I say this exact thing in my script.
Like, it's actually beyond stupid.
Like,
To be at school eternally.
School over and over. And most of them look older to the students anyway.
Sure.
So they're stuck at school getting like high school educations.
Yeah.
I'm aware that some of them went to university maybe once, but why wouldn't they just like have it? Oh, well, I know why, because they wanted the whole like family, good family.
Also,
like,
I don't know if this is ever explained, but do they have to like move schools every time that they graduate?
they try and stick around for as many years as possible, but then they do ultimately
Okay.
move. So I think the point is they start in high school so they can stick around to in an area for longer than a year
Sure.
at a time. I think, but it's nonsense because you could stick them all in university, then they could all be getting like PhDs.
But then do they like go to a new high school and they're like, oh yeah, I'm 14, and then they like go all the way from high school, like from the start to the end, or what?
Well, that's the question.
And then like, do they make new birth certificates and IDs and everything?
They're always making fake IDs. Apparently, that's not
Okay.
difficult because they're rich. Because Alice has visions of the future, so she can not manipulate. She can judge what the stock market is doing, and that's how they.
Is that what they do?
Apparently, that's how like they make a decent amount of money. And then Carlisle's a doctor in it.
Where are all of the like Wolf of Wall Street lads who should be eating this story up? Like, come on, you'd think they'd love it. Actually, the stock market doesn't work like that. It's all fake. Oh God,
It's not real. The economy's not real. Yeah, but so Twilight getting a renaissance, I feel like the books anyway, because the films, they weren't as bad as you thought. The films are fine. I'll go as far as saying that they did as much as they could with the source material they were
Sure.
given. But the books, no, it's not. It's not a case of sure, there would have been people who just made fun of it because it's what teenage girls liked, but abusive relationships were romanticized to a whole generation of teenage girls, and that's just simply not okay, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. You know, like, no one really ever mentions this. Jacob sexually assaults Bella in the third book, and it's never treated as such. And Bella's own father is the chief of police, and when she, because she breaks her hand punching him in the jaw, and she says to Charlie, oh yeah, I hit Jacob because he kissed me. And Charlie's like, haha, good on you, sport, good for you. No one takes it seriously.
Arrest him. Arrest this man.
No one does anything. And he's a werewolf, so he has super strength. So he literally holds her, and the text says something along the lines of, I just had to stand there and wait till he was done.
In case anyone is unclear, that is not the review you want of when you try and kiss someone.
And then the whole creepy factor of Edward being about 107 years old,
Yeah.
dating a 17-year-old. Ew, get a grip. Get out of
Someone in
this,
the
lovely
comments
mayor.
is going to be like, actually, my grandparents have a really big age gap and they're in love.
Yeah, not by 90
100
years.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, you do never know. Times were just wild back then.
Yeah, that's true.
But beyond that, the relationship between Edward and Bella is so abusive. Like, it's red flags everywhere. He's like, it's kind of ironic that gaslighting is a term that's being thrown around now, because there are bits I was reading at the beginning of, like, nearer the beginning to the middle of Twilight, where it's like, oh wow, no, Edward is actually gaslighting Bella here, because he's being like, no, you're crazy, you didn't see me move fast and save you from that van, you're crazy. And then she's like, she gaslights herself. She's always like, I'm questioning my own sanity. Am I crazy? I'm a weirdo. Oh, I'm obsessed with Edward. I've known him for a day. Get a grip.
Do you think that if you have a legitimate secret that you need to keep, such as being a vampire, gaslighting is ever justified? Purely theoretical.
Right, maybe in that case, but he doesn't do a good job though, because one moment he's like, we can't be friends, not allowed. And then literally like the next week, he's like, actually, I want us to be friends. And then he stops acting. He doesn't really, before she finds out the real that he's a vampire, he's doing all of them, scratch that, all the Cullens in the school are doing a terrible job of trying to pretend to be human. Because when Bella first notices them, they're all like sitting, because they don't need to breathe. So they're all sitting like inhumanly still.
They don't, I guess
But they don't
wouldn't.
need to. So they're sitting really still. And then Alice dumps her tray full of food in the bin. And they're just not doing a good job at all. Edward like does his super speed thing in front of her a few times before like she's aware that he, you know, she drops her books at one point, and then suddenly all her books piled up and he gives them to her. And it's like, you're not even fucking trying, bro. What are you doing, idiot? You deserve the Volturi to come up to you. Volturi just reminds me of Jeffree Star.
Oh my god.
The Volturi of
Yeah, I
Calabasas.
totally see that.
Where's he live now? Colorado, the Volturi of Colorado.
The Twilight series would have been a lot shorter if Edward just let Bella get hit by that car in the first one. He's just like...
The driver of that van is called Tyler, and at first you think this is the true fucking MVP, because like the van almost hits her. Edward gets in the way, like knocks it out of the way. But like there's black ice, so then it spins around and tries to hit her again, because this van is really trying to shorten
The universe
this
is
story.
willing it to happen.
But then he like, I think I say something in my script like, no character has risen so fast but then like fallen so steeply in my estimation, because it's like, nah man, this guy's cool, he almost killed Bella, and then literally a page later he's simping over her, trying to ask her out to the prom. Why do men try to hit you with vans and then ask you out to spring dances?
That's a question we'll never have the answer to.
I think now it's time for a segment I'm calling Animal Facts. It's a very inventive segment, I
Amazing
know.
name. I love it.
I'm going to tell you some amazing animal facts that I found on the internet. I hope they're true. I haven't checked. I don't give a shit. A snail can sleep for 3 years at a time. Me.
That is cool.
How does that? But do they?
Every snail I've ever stepped on.
They were just having a nap.
Having
They
a
were
3-year slumber.
halfway through, and you killed them.
Literally.
There are 1 million ants for every human in the world. And there's 7 billion humans. Nearer 8 billion. Isn't that horrifying?
Oh my god.
Think how big ants are. They're like this, like, 2 millimeters
Where are
or
they
so.
all?
They're in the rainforest. Isn't there, what are they, fire ants? Where when they move as like a block mile. And they just, if you're in the way, they will take you down. They'll bite you and eat you. Just the whole like rainforest floor. A sea of like orange
just consumed
fire
alive
ants.
by ants.
Yeah, that's a very metal way to go.
Is it though?
It's pretty metal, consumed by fire ants. Like fire ants is pretty metal, because you think, wow, ants, fire ants,
I'm sorry, but
ants on fire.
oh, how did they die? Eaten by ants. I don't think that's metal.
Fire ants specifically.
Okay, all right.
Torn apart limb from limb, literally.
Limb from limb.
Have you ever seen those time lapses of like ants eating things?
No.
There's loads of them on YouTube. Like,
You say that like that's like a cultural, like everyone has seen
they
it.
have millions of views. It's not me just being a
Those
sicko
are from the
watching-
ants.
Millions of them working together to like use a computer.
Literally.
A pig's orgasm lasts 30 minutes.
Yeah. Mine usually do.
Oh, don't say that about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, actually, pigs are lovely though.
That sounds like a good day.
No, it doesn't. 30 minutes, you wouldn't be able to get anything done.
How many orgasms are you having in a day?
Well, I'm a very busy person.
Half an
no,
hour. It's not too much time to block off.
I think so. That'd be too much. That'd be a bit overwhelming, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Oh, you when you look 10 minutes in, you'd get bored. You'd be like, I need a glass of water, but it's not feasible.
You can have a glass of water.
No, if you're like being
Go on, act
electrocuted.
it out. Not if you're like, what?
The way I do it then look like I've been electrocuted. Sharks kill fewer than 10 people per year. Why are you
I
laughing
love
at
that
that?
we're just like doing like a lightning round through it. It's like, anyway.
I tell you some facts, you react to it. Job
Sure,
done.
got it.
That's content. Sharks kill fewer than 10 people per year. Humans kill about 100 million sharks per year. How are there that many sharks, firstly?
Well, that's the thing. That is the human propaganda, isn't it? That was first propagated by the release of Jaws, the movie, where it was like sharks are a danger to humanity. Da, 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 da. Lies.
We're going in their water. So maybe we should butt out.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should start minding our own business
They're just chilling.
when it comes to the animal kingdom.
Oh, I agree. Thank
Yeah.
you. Octopuses, octopi, they're not octopuses, stupid website, have 3 hearts. 3.
Wow.
Why would you need that many? It's pointless. It's
Just
like
for them to get broken, every single one.
to be a simp.
Yeah,
Be
right,
tough like me. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's like cows have like 3. Don't cows have 4 stomachs, or is it sheep? Or I don't know, some
Cows have something going on in their stomach.
yeah, a
They
lot
might
of
have
them.
2.
Just-
I don't know about 4.
maybe sheep have
4 seems
4.
excessive.
4. How many does sheep have?
Fuck me.
That's just point. Like, why'd you have so many stomachs? Food can't
One
be
for
that
dinner,
good.
one for something sweet after.
Both have 4. That is some genetic mutations going on right there. That is people being not people, cows being made in a lab. Ancient
You think
aliens.
so?
Yeah, maybe.
Hmm.
Elephants have a specific alarm call that means human.
That is interesting.
I never used to be that keen on elephants.
Really?
Yes, because I'm very superficial and I didn't like, their skin and their skin texture, wrinkly and stuff. I thought, nah, not having that.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Botox the elephants. That's what I say.
But now, this is when I was younger, and when you do get a bit silly like
Yeah,
that, don't you? Like, oh, I
sure.
don't like that animal. Looks like it'd feel funny if you touched it. Don't like that.
I've seen some super cute videos though, especially of like baby elephants like fooling around. I'm like, oh, You're cute.
I agree now.
Yeah.
I think elephants are great. They're cute. They have funerals for their dead friends. It's true.
my God. Humans should do something like that.
Do you remember on what's those like animal documentaries we have in the UK, usually voiced by Attenborough? One of those ones where they're out in
Ocean, Blue Ocean,
No, because it was in the
Planet Earth. Yeah.
Serengeti. Is that what? Is that what?
Serengeti.
Maybe, I don't know, somewhere where elephants are. And one time there was this baby elephant that died, and they showed it struggling and dying, or something. They didn't bother to. Because
Hell.
I think it was like maybe there was a drought going on, and it was a thirst thing. And the rest of the elephants were okay, but then the baby elephant died, and then people criticize the crew for not, but then they say, oh well, we can't interfere, and it's like, it's a fucking baby elephant. They're already going to become.
Why can
they're
they not
already
interfere,
endangered, aren't
though?
they? Give it a bottle of Evian. What
Yeah.
are you doing?
Please.
I would never. What kind of
I
rule
know.
is
How
that?
could you really?
What kind of rule is that? Oh,
Yeah.
you can't get involved. Why? Who said that? The CEO of the BBC.
I-
Well, they also said that about Savile. Fuck them.
I always think this though when I'm watching stuff like that. Like if you've ever watched like Bear Grylls, when he's like surviving in the wild and stuff, and it's like the cameraman is just like watching him like eat bugs and drink his own piss. Like the cameraman's probably like got a Nature Valley bar like in his backpack or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're just gonna allow these conditions.
I always thought that maybe this is just an urban rumor that Bear Grylls, he would stay in hotels for the night. They'd
I
get
heard
him
that
out
too.
and- yeah,
I
maybe
heard they
there's
like go
something
to
in
the
that.
hotel and they like order pizza and shit.
It's just called BBC's Africa.
BBC's Africa. Yeah, that's it. Boycott the BBC. Don't pay a why should you pay a license to the BBC anyway?
Yeah,
Who
agreed.
does that? They're gonna be knocking on my door. The CEO, the CEO, and the ghost of Savile will be after me now.
So,
Just I'm gonna get banned.
yeah, probably.
Reindeer eyeballs turn blue in winter to help them see at lower light levels.
That is interesting.
I looked it up. It's true. I googled it. Looked at some
Ah.
pictures. Oh, I liked this one. A sea lion is the first non-human mammal with a proven ability to keep a beat.
Wow.
It's got like beatboxing sea lions.
Oh my god.
How cute's that?
They discovered that before white people.
Do you think
Congratulations.
sea lions are so cute? Don't you think?
Mm,
I love,
they
it, I
are.
love it when they're doing tricks.
Yeah, I like it too.
Maybe that's not so good for them to be in like where have I seen sea lions? Not SeaWorld. I don't go there. Does Bird World have sea lions?
Bird World?
You
Is
know,
Bird World a thing?
have you never been to Bird World?
Can't say I have, no.
It's out in the countryside. I've been there. They have penguins. It's decent. Yeah, it's all right. Male koalas have 2 penises and female koalas have 2 vaginas.
Brilliant.
What's the point of that?
Well, if
That'd
you can
just
use,
be-
if you, I mean, that seems like not a coincidence that they each have 2 each, you know?
double penetration.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. The animal kingdom is absurd.
Don't they all have chlamydia though, koalas?
Really?
Yeah, have you not heard that?
No, why?
And like when people go and they like visit koalas or like when people go on holiday and they like meet koalas and they hold them and stuff, people can get like chlamydia from it. Like you need to be careful.
Where are they holding the koalas?
You know, they go to the countries where
No,
koalas
but whereabouts in the body are they holding them to catch chlamydia?
Well, they hold them like babies, I guess, and the koala's like on them, and then like the koala's 2 dicks are swinging around. You know, you've got double the chance, really, haven't you?
Is this true?
90%.
Wait, wild populations, is this just koalas, not all the animals? Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I
stay
thought
away
that
from
too.
them.
And 50% of the wildlife on this sofa.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding.
Not me.
I don't have chlamydia anymore.
Have you ever had it? Tell us, what's it like? Is it
It's
fun?
wonderful. Get some antibiotics, you're sorted. Jesus Christ, this is actually going on the internet.
Yeah, you gotta be careful about that kind of stuff.
Having
Not me, though. I'm
chlamydia.
all clean.
Everyone's had chlamydia.
No,
90% of koalas have chlamydia.
not every human though.
Anyone that's held a koala.
A female ferret will die if it goes into heat and cannot find a mate.
Same.
Gets so horny, just dies.
We've all been there.
Like, what is that about? People keep ferrets as pets though. So
Hmm.
are most ferrets people keep as pets male? They must be, because otherwise they'd just be dying. Or neutered. Well, I don't know. It
guess
doesn't
they
say
would be
anything about
neutered,
that.
Wouldn't they? Excuse my ferret. He's very horny.
And the last one. Cows can sleep standing up, but they can only dream lying down.
That's weird. That's really weird.
I think it's crazy how people worked out that that was a... Well, you'd have to find out by putting, some sort of like scanner.
Scan their brains.
Scan their
yeah.
brainwaves. So who had the bright idea of let's scan the brainwaves when they're standing up asleep and scan them when they're lying down asleep? Why? What's the point?
Here is the thing that, like, I always think about as well, because obviously my degree is quite research oriented. Is like pretty much everything's already been done. If they're scanning cows' brains when they're asleep, like, what could I really do that's original? Not that like psychological research would often like be on cow brainwaves. You know what I mean?
Is this just the justifications and not like
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything.
just not do any work?
Yeah, fuck it.
Everything's already been fucking done.
Exactly.
I remember once my history teacher told me that, or told us the class that they,
Not you specifically.
not me specifically, no. Once he threw water at me though, specifically.
Oh,
Only a little bit, and that's because I'd fallen asleep.
that's fair.
World War II, what a snooze fest. It's all we fucking learnt in history, just World War II. I mean, yes, it's important. Shouldn't be forgotten because otherwise doomed to
Disclaimer.
disclaimer. Of course, doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past if you
World
don't.
War II was quite bad.
Very bad. It really shouldn't. It speaks for
Should
itself.
not have happened.
No, it really shouldn't take us being like, yeah, World War II, big bad. Obviously.
Yeah.
But that's all we learned about in history.
Yeah.
But then I remember we got to the exam and the question was something like the question that was the main points of the exam was something about the USSR. And I was like, what the hell is that? So I wrote down any old garbage.
Yeah.
I think I passed with like a B or an A somehow, even though I wrote down any old garbage. And when I went back into the classroom and he was like, how was it? I said, what's the USSR? We've not learned about that. And he was like, he like face palmed. He was like, that's what we've been learning about all year. And I was like, oh.
I was asleep.
I was sleeping, mate. Can you blame
It's
me?
fine. The history curriculum in this country is bollocks
It
anyway.
was just all
British
about
Empire,
World War II.
what?
Just history, ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, World War II. Yes, it's important, but Mesopotamia. I didn't even know that ancient Mesopotamia was a thing until I found out about like aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
On the
Because
internet.
that's like the context of all your educational intake is like how it relates to the possibility of aliens.
Yes, because there's some like I think it was in ancient Mesopotamia they found the first written records. And there was some slabs going on about some mad shit about being created in pots, and they had these little like stone carvings of the solar system. Correct, except for like a mysterious 10th planet, which the conspiracy theorists say is Nibiru and all that kind of stuff. But there's some mad shit. We should learn about that rather than
I mean, World War II.
rather than Goebbels.
Once you've learned it.
I think Goebbels had a bad leg. That's what I remember from World. I think it was. Can you Google that, please? Was it Goebbels with the bad leg? And he also
This podcast, educational or no?
he had some sort of OCD. Yes, he had a foot that turned inwards, and he would write in his diary when he'd trimmed his moustache. That's what I remember.
If I were to keep a diary,
The education system
I
in
like to
this
think it'd be a
country.
bit more juicy. Yeah, I mean, the education system in this country is.
What was I even talking about? Why did I go on about
I don't know,
history?
I don't know.
How did we get here? History. World War II.
We got here though. That's all that matters.
How did we get here? What were we
I
talking
remember
about?
at some point we were talking about animals. Yeah, fair enough.
So we're missing a bit of time right now. We might have been abducted by aliens for
I
several
blacked
hours.
out, to be honest.
I think that's what's just happened. I guess now we will never know where I was going with that.
That's okay though.
One time my history teacher... That's it, science.
Oh,
One
yeah.
time my history teacher told us, the class, that some scientists had really been paid to find out something about when you add milk to cornflakes, they get wet. And they did an experiment because they wanted to like really verify that when you add milk to cornflakes, they get wet. It's a thing. You
I
can...
could have told you that.
Yeah, that was his point. That what? This is what some people are
Okay,
getting funded.
The studies, sure.
The
I'm
studies.
with you now. I'm caught up.
So there's 100% surety that if you add milk to cornflakes or water, something like a liquid, they get wet.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. We should become scientists. We could do some mad
That is kind
stuff.
of what I'm doing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it would
Can
be great.
we create the Digiworld? We had a whole conversation
That would be
earlier
my
about what
first
we'd
goal,
do
yeah.
if we had,
If we
you
were
know,
billionaires.
if we, well, not just billionaires, but the net worth of a small country. If the
Sure.
net worth of Elon Musk, 220 billion, which is mad when you think about it,
Yeah.
would do so much cooler stuff. And they don't deserve it, right? Because they're not doing anything
Yeah.
amazing with it. They're just dick swinging about who can last in space for more than 10 minutes
Sure.
at a time. Boring. Space travel is still boring. It's crap. It's uncomfortable. What's the point? I've been to space. Big fucking whoop. I don't give a shit.
Honestly, there's not that much going on up there.
And
Not as far as we've gone. I'm sure there's like some crazy shit past that. Galactic
Yeah.
Federation, whatever.
Thank you.
But
Well, yeah, going up for 10 minutes, then coming back down. What a fucking waste of
I
time.
know, and that only costs probably a few mil.
Exactly. If I was a billionaire with a net worth of 220 billion, yeah, at first I'd do the perfunctory stuff. Get rid of poverty, get rid of like whole
Yeah.
climate change.
Once
all
world
that.
hunger's out the way.
Yeah, only spend like 2 billion doing that, then you're all grand.
Yeah.
Then I'd get to the mad shit. Giving scientists a funding of $1 billion to create a perfect vegan mozzarella. And then funding other scientists to create the Digiworld. create an actual Digiworld with Digimon. Digimon were always cooler than Pokemon. They could talk, they could evolve and
Agreed.
devolve.
Yeah, agreed.
They had a better the Japanese theme tune because the English theme tune for Digimon is awful.
Oh, come on, it's iconic though.
No, the Japanese theme tune is
Digital
way
Monsters,
better.
Digimon
Stop
are the
it!
champions.
No, la la la. The Japanese one is amazing, and also when they're transforming, the Japanese like song for that is all. It's genuinely just like, oh, this is actually good music. Yeah, you could release this outside of Digimon.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I would
There's
down
been
to
some
it.
like thoughts, put into this, other than just repeating Digimon 10 times. That's what I'd do if I was a billionaire.
Yeah, create the digital world.
Create Digimon.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, sure. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
I think in the plot of Digimon, quite a lot goes wrong.
Maybe
There's like evidence.
Maybe I'll just have the Digiworld for me then. And other people.
Your own exclusive Digiworld.
I've just
You
solved.
haven't even got the billions yet, and you're already starting to act like Jeff Bezos.
Excuse me,
Oh,
I've cured.
now someone's going to be in the comment like, Jeff Bezos works really hard.
Oh, he works 120 hours. No, it's just billionaire
Please
propaganda.
spare me.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't work that. Get out. Don't even bother. I will block you in the comment section if I see a whiff of that. I've just solved world poverty, world hunger. I've joined us to the Intergalactic Federation that's up there, just out of our reach because we keep killing each other. I've achieved world peace. I've done it. They've sent me to different corners of the earth to, sort of maintain peace, have peace embassies and peace talks. And I've done it all.
You've cured all koala bears of chlamydia.
I am the Messiah. So yes, I'm going to have a Digiworld to myself just so I can have a Garurumon
Sure.
and
To ride around.
beat up fake digital monsters with.
Sure.
Yeah. What's so wrong with that?
I think that's fine.
Stop laughing at me. I dream big. These are my dreams. They're better than...
Stay tuned for...
Much better than I just want a good job so I can have a family and then hate them.
Yeah, fuck all that shit. And then I'll base my entire stand-up comedy career on how much I hate my wife and kids.
Weird that it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's really a thing. How much stand-up comedy from the 60s, 70s... Was there stand-up in the 60s? Was that... Yeah, there must have been. Richard Pryor, surely.
When were
But
jokes
he was
invented?
different. Oh, I don't know. When this universe was created. Richard Pryor was 70s. Oh. Yeah, Carlin was around then as well. I liked him.
Wow, the way
Him,
you knew
Pryor.
that off the top of your head.
Well done. Good for you. Love Bill Hicks. What are we talking about? Why are we on about that?
Literally no
why,
idea.
why were there so many stand-up comedians back in the day just being like, oh, my wife, hate her.
Hate her guts. And the audience is like, yeah! And everybody clapped. and it's the same material every time.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife. My wife was having a go at me. You know how it is, guys. And they were like...
In like seals.
Literally. Except seals are like more developed now. Now that they can keep a beat.
So, final thoughts to sum up this episode.
I'm not sure what just happened, to be honest.
Old comedians, bad.
Yeah.
Koala bears.
Someone help them.
Yeah.
Someone get them down to the clinic.
Take some antibiotics.
Honestly.
What are you doing? You.
Yeah. I can't believe no one's on that yet.
So you can make a killing doing that.
Curing koala bears of chlamydia. Someone should pay for it.
Oh yeah, who's going to pay for that?
I don't
The
know.
koalas.
I don't know. Someone that wants to fuck the koalas without getting chlamydia.
Oh Christ! Can we
Jesus,
not?
Someone's
Can we...
probably out there.
Probably.
Let's just leave the furry bait for
Oh
now.
God. So, if
Anyway.
you've taken anything from this episode, it's koalas have chlamydia and Goebbels had a bad leg and wrote in his diary when he'd had a moustache trim and a shave. And I hope that you use that information somehow in your daily life. You know, shock and awe a lover or a boss with your amazing knowledge of this world. And that's all for this week's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.